The fourth episode of Criminal Minds, Evolution alternates between agents trying to help Elias Voigt, Zach Gilford, regain his memories and the case of a murderer they suspect of trafficking human organs. However, the agents quickly learn that the case of the week is a bit more complex than just selling organs on the black market. The murderer, a former ER physician, is trying to finish skin grafts for his immunocompromised daughter, who has suffered severe burns over the majority of her body. His partner merely harvests organs to supplement his income. In contrast to the typical cases that Criminal Minds covers, that is frequently the driving force behind the sale of body parts or remains. However, Penelope Garcia, Kirsten Vangsness, begs the other members of the team not to investigate the Harvard morgue scandal after several victims have had particular organs removed, raising the possibility that they are witnessing an organ harvesting ring. Garcia's line alludes to a real case involving the sale of human remains, even though this episode is not one of the Criminal Minds episodes that was inspired by a true story. In 2023, the Harvard Medical School morgue manager was charged with the transportation and sale of stolen human remains. With his wife's assistance, Cedric Lodge would pilfer cadavers donated to the university's medical school. Due to the nature of forensic and medical research, people can donate their remains to science after they pass away with the hope that their bodies will help advance knowledge of various diseases, help better understand how murderers dispose of bodies, or even instruct future medical professionals in autopsy or surgery techniques. Harvard is one of many universities with extensive research programs for this. Lodge was responsible for overseeing the cremation of remains following the conclusion of the research. Using his position, he shipped body parts to people who bought them from him and his wife and brought those bodies back to his house. Some of the clients would even come to the morgue to select body parts, according to Lodge's guilty plea, which made the whole situation even more horrifying for the relatives of those who learned of the illicit activity. The plan only started in 2018, even though Lodge had been employed by Harvard Medical School since 1995. Of course, the difference here compared to the Criminal Minds, Evolution episode is that no one involved in the Harvard morgue scandal was seeking out and killing people, but instead, stealing the remains of those who had already died. Criminal Minds, Evolution is able to go far darker than the original Criminal Minds series, which ran on CBS for 15 seasons. Because the show is available on streaming services rather than network television, the language may be more mature, but the episodes may also be even more graphic than those on network television. Unsettling unsubs are nothing new to Criminal Minds, but Criminal Minds, Evolution has raised the stakes, and the cases in Season 3 have been especially graphic. The paramedic and emergency room physician in this week's episode not only pick up women from the side of the road who believe they are receiving medical attention, but they also brutally and precisely use the women's body parts for their own benefit. The paramedic is acting solely for financial gain, while the doctor defends his actions by claiming that he must heal his daughter. Their plan's worst aspect is that the victims remain alive while their skin is being used. The organs are only harvested once the doctor has finished treating them. This occurs shortly after women were kidnapped, imprisoned, and trained to be subservient to the unsub known as the zookeeper, which included hurting themselves as he saw fit. After achieving his objective, he would murder one woman and kidnap another in order to tame her. Like this week's episode, that one delves deeper than the show ever did on CBS, reminding viewers of how sinister the villains can truly be and making the cases even more unpalatable than they might have been in the original series. Despite the fact that the cases are far more sinister, Criminal Minds, Evolution has an additional edge at this stage of the series. While retaining its procedural components, it can become much more serialized. While the original series was much more naturally a procedural with only a few longer arcs throughout the series, the most recent season concentrated heavily on Gold Star without making good use of the show's typical case-of-the-week format. Season 3 of Criminal Minds, Evolution strikes a better balance between the two strategies. While the overarching narrative of the series is about Voigt as Sicarius, the team still has a job to do outside of him. In Season 3, that entails taking on new cases each week while leaving some agents on his own. By dividing the team in this manner, Criminal Minds, Evolution can surpass the original series and fully develop both of the stories in the episodes.